Hey everyone, today I want to talk to you about beginning band. This can be one of the most rewarding times, at least in my opinion, because you get to start off a kid and they don't know anything about the instrument, and all of a sudden they're playing a few notes in a few weeks, and you see just such tremendous progress in such a short amount of time, right? And so where I teach, we actually have all of our beginners in the same class. I think the term for that is heterogeneous classes, and so it does come with some different obstacles, and one of those is having the hard time being able to get the kids the attention, the individual attention that they need. And so we have a few things that we've done to be able to try to give them a fighting chance. And so hopefully this is something that you can use in your band program if you do have all your beginners in one class. One of those things, first of all, is our seating. I like to have the beginners in rows where I can just look down the row and see every flute, hand position, clarinet, slide positions for the trombones, whatever. And so rather than sitting them in a more traditional band setting where the low brass is in the back, you have your upper woodwinds in the front and so forth, I'm able to just kind of look down the row. And so it does require more work to change the seating arrangement between classes, but it's worth it to be able to give them the feedback that they need. Also, in the very, very beginning, it's very hard to have the woodwind kids occupied while the brass kids are doing something. And that's one of the biggest struggles and why, classes tend to move very slow. And one of the things that I've found is the more you can have kids doing something, even when they're not playing, it's going to be a big deal, right? And so I'll give you an example of that. In the beginning, when the kids are first learning how to assemble their instruments, obviously it's going to be a little bit more cumbersome of a task for the woodwinds, right? And so while we're doing brass buzzing, I'll have the metronome going on. I'm having the kids buzz over and over and over again, A counts, long tones, whatever, just on the mouthpiece, and I'm over there listening to that, but also walking up and down the woodwind rows while the kids practice assembling and disassembling their instruments. And they can get several reps of that while the kids, the brass kids, are buzzing. And it's such a good opportunity for two things to be going on at once. A lot of times I'll even have my percussion kids learning the note names, and they have a test coming up. That's our very first test that they have is, I point to a note and they've got to be able to tell me, oh, that's a D flat or a G sharp or whatever, right? And so that's what they're doing. And so there's always forward momentum, even if it's just a little bit of momentum, right? The other thing is this: I know a lot of band directors shy away from wanting to do any elementary music, but it's such a game changer for us because the kids learn recorders and they learn the process of what our expectations are in class. For example, when we're playing, hot cross buns or whatever, the first thing we do is count the rhythm, count and clap the rhythm. We also say the note names. Then we say the note names while we finger, and then we go ahead and play it, right? And so, a lot of you probably do this, something very similar to that on your band instruments. And so the kids already know that process, and it's just a seamless transition going from recorder to the clarinet or whatever the case may be. And so that's something that I encourage you to do. I know it's more time out of your schedule during the day, but you will make up for it in the long run. And also you may really build some lasting bonds with kids, and they'll want to stay in the program. One other thing I want to point out is I saw a middle school director do this one time and kind of stole it from her, and it's just something that we always do in music, right? We borrow things, but when we do note names in class on a new line, a lot of times I'll tell the kids to say the note names in their heads, and then we will I'll call out the note names for that particular line, but I'll randomly pick a different instrument, for example, saxophones, and right away the kids have to raise their hand once we're done with that rep, and I know that the saxophones are listening and they're engaged. If they aren't, then we'll do that again. I'll have them say it out loud. I'll try to keep them accountable. So it's a good way for kids to still be listening, engaging, and be able to kind of quiz them on their participation. And I know that is a very, very difficult thing to have all the beginners in one class. And sometimes you don't move as fast, but always prioritize tone over anything else. And then you'll see the dividends in the future, right? Thanks. Bye-bye.